All right, let's talk about the absolute elephant in the room when it comes to everyday nutrition. Welcome to the Explainer. Let's be totally honest here. For decades, we've all been subjected to some incredibly confusing, literally flip-flopping dietary advice when it comes to one very specific item on our breakfast plates. Seriously, one year they're this terrible health hazard, and the next, they're hailed as a miraculous superfood. It's honestly enough to give anyone dietary whiplash.
So that brings us to the core mystery we're unraveling today. Are eggs actually good for you? I mean, think about it. This humble little food has gone from being aggressively demonized as a one-way ticket to clogged arteries to being celebrated by modern science as one of the most complete, beneficial foods on the planet. How exactly did we get here? And more importantly, what does the science actually say when we strip away all the internet myths and the historical fear-mongering?
Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand the truth, we need to ground ourselves with a very simple, foundational number, 70. When you look at a single large egg, you're only looking at about 70 calories. In the grand scheme of your daily diet, that is an incredibly small footprint. It's practically just a snack. But don't let that tiny number fool you, because what is packed inside those 70 calories is where the real story begins.
See, that small 70-calorie footprint hides a massive nutritional payoff. Nutritionists actually have a specific term for this. It's called being nutrient-dense. A nutrient-dense food is one that packs a genuinely massive amount of nutritional value into a very small volume. You're getting an enormous bang for your caloric buck here. We're not talking about empty energy just to get you through the morning. It's a highly concentrated delivery system for things your body desperately needs to function optimally.
Now, it's super fascinating how this nutrient density breaks down between the white and the yolk. We've all heard the classic advice, right? Just eat the egg whites for their fantastic high-quality protein. But man, the yolk is where the magic happens. The yolk is where you find choline, which is absolutely critical for your brain and liver function. It's where you find vitamins D and B12, selenium, and vital antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin that physically protect your eyes. Oh, and it also contains high-quality protein. Tossing the yolk for health reasons is a genuine tragedy, because you are quite literally throwing away brain-boosting nutrients and vital health protectors. The yolk has just been so entirely misunderstood.
Moving on to the building blocks of our bodies, I want to anchor our next point on the number 6. Or actually, scratch that, more accurately, 6 to 7. That is the number of grams of protein you get in a single large egg. But it's not just any random protein. This is what scientists call complete protein. That means it contains the whole shebang, all 9 essential amino acids that your body absolutely cannot produce on its own. You need these very specific amino acids for muscle repair, for hormone production, and for keeping your immune system functioning exactly as it should. Let's move to and see how this builds, because this protein benefit scales up quickly. 1 egg gives you that 6 to 7 grams. 2 eggs bump you to roughly 12 to 14. And by the time you sit down to a really simple 3-egg breakfast, you're getting roughly 18 to 21 grams of complete protein. To put that into perspective, that single meal gets you close to a third of the recommended daily protein intake for an average adult. This is exactly why they're such a popular, cornerstone choice for anyone trying to manage their weight, build muscle, or just simply stay full and focused longer throughout the day. But we do have to address the villain of the story, the reason eggs were locked away in nutritional jail for so long. And it all comes down to the number 185, specifically 185 milligrams. That is the exact amount of cholesterol found in a single egg yolk. For years, the prevailing wisdom was that eating dietary cholesterol directly caused high blood cholesterol. Because of this 185 milligrams, we were told we absolutely must strictly limit our eggs to protect our hearts. It created a ton of tension and fear around a perfectly natural food. And this brilliantly illustrates how scientific research evolves and corrects itself over time. The old guidelines flat out told us to limit eggs because they believed dietary cholesterol caused heart disease. But modern guidelines, they represent a massive data-driven shift. The newest research shows that for most healthy individuals, dietary cholesterol has a much smaller effect than once believed. Why? Because the body actually regulates its own cholesterol production. So, moderate egg consumption doesn't meaningfully raise your risk of heart disease. Now, hold on, I do have to add an important yes but caveat here. This isn't a blanket rule for every single person. If you have existing heart conditions or type 2 diabetes, you may still need to moderate your intake and check in with your doctor or dietitian. But for the general healthy public, the science has fundamentally changed direction.
Which naturally leads us to the ultimate payoff. The exact question that probably drove you to watch this explainer in the first place. After all the flip-flopping, the yolk tossing, and the intense cholesterol panic, what is the actual rule? How many eggs should you genuinely eat per week?
Well, the magic number from the current research is 7.
Current scientific guidelines support eating up to 7 eggs a week for most healthy adults. That breaks down beautifully to about 1 egg a day, with no meaningful increase in heart disease risk. But it gets even better. If you're a highly active individual, like if you're actively building muscle in the gym or using eggs as a primary protein source, studies suggest that up to 2 eggs a day, so 14 a week, can be perfectly fine provided you don't have those underlying health conditions we just mentioned.
But hey, before you go cooking up a massive dozen-egg omelet, remember one absolutely crucial rule. Context matters way more than the egg count. The eggs themselves aren't the problem, it's often the company they keep. Frying your eggs in heavy butter alongside a massive pile of processed meats like bacon or sausage every single morning is a very, very different dietary pattern than eating your eggs alongside whole grains, spinach, and fresh vegetables. The overall context of your plate is what dictates your health, not just the isolated egg.
So, the crucial point is, if we cleanly summarize decades of scientific research into 5 main takeaways, here's what you need to know. Number 1, eggs are incredibly nutrient-dense and one of the most complete foods you can possibly eat. Number 2, a single egg delivers 6 to 7 grams of high-quality, complete protein. Number 3, eating up to 7 a week or 1 a day is completely safe for most healthy adults. Number 4, the overall quality of your diet and what you pair with your eggs matters much more than the eggs alone. And finally, number 5, always personalize your intake with a medical professional if you have pre-existing health conditions.
This humble ingredient has survived decades of myths to rightfully reclaim its spot as a nutritional powerhouse. Now that you have the actual science and you know how to safely and effectively incorporate them into a balanced lifestyle, how will you be cooking your eggs tomorrow? And maybe more importantly, what other outdated dietary myths are still sitting on your breakfast plate? Thank you so much for joining me for this science-backed explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next one.